they try and back out. The third positioning is aggressive. You stand in their jungle bush, they jump from their jump pad, you chase them, and then you follow through into the Ray pit with your team. This video is going to be a full, complete macro guide of how to use Mewtwo in the solo queue or the duo queue to win way more games than you normally would with any other Pokemon. These are just some highlights of using Mewtwo in my very first game. As you can see, this Pokemon is very point and click. There's not a lot of skill to it. So focusing on your macro decisions, which are your decisions throughout the game, and understanding the impacts of those decisions is what's going to make you win more or lose more games with this Pokemon. So without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into it. I suggest you take this Pokemon to the jungle, you do your blue buff, you do your red buff, then you take your top Baltoy and your bottom Baltoy, and you want to click the move Future Sight. Now I'd suggest traveling to the top lane, because if your lane is winning, generally they're going to be in those bushes or push back into their flux zone. Now you want to play this fairly safe because you want to keep your health relatively high, but you also want to help your laners win the lane. Now there's a reason why I've said you want to keep your health high, and it's because you want to invade the enemy jungle to get ahead. Mewtwo is extremely strong early, and that's what you need to take advantage of. Here you can see on the map, the enemy jungler is pushing, so we're going to be able to invade their jungle. We're going to take their buffs before they get back in time to do anything about it. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Now the important part of this is that you are pinging your own jungle so that your team knows that that farm is free to be taken. We don't want that farm sitting around for too long. Now in the case of somebody coming into the jungle that isn't the Mewtwo, you pretty much just fight it. And if it is the opposing enemy, which happens to be the Mewtwo as a jungler, you can also just maybe fight that thing as well. But probably a little bit riskier to do in their jungle, which is why you want to invade as soon as you can on as high health as possible. Now the enemy jungler has got vision on me because their Umbreon keeps coming to fight me for these buffs. That's a really good play on the Umbreon's end, and the Mewtwo, as you maybe saw on the map, they went into my jungle because they understood that those buffs are free. But seeing as you get ahead, you are going to be flying ahead because this Pokemon is incredibly strong. You get that Mega Evolution and you should be flying ahead on these levels. It's super important to note that if you get ahead, you do not die with Mewtwo. It's probably the worst thing you can do, is dying for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So as you can see, we get some kills and we break the enemy goal zone, which is incredibly important if you want to take this first objective. And here's why. Have a look at the level lead we have from all the score and kill experience and our positioning on the map. So we're able to take this first objective and get that global experience while the enemy can't really do much about it. Now after this objective, I'm still going to have level 9, so I'm planning on walking through the enemy jungle again to take their buffs. And I'm already pinging at my own jungle from my teammates to go through and take those buffs, because this is going to allow me to walk through the enemy jungle. And I'm level 9, so if I see the enemy jungler, I'm going to be able to kill him along the way or take a pretty successful team fight, and then you want to maneuver through to that top lane. So that's exactly what we do. We get a lead and we keep a lead. This is what Mewtwo is able to do really well. I promise you, if you play that early first gank properly and you get the invade going, you're going to be able to steamroll games. Now at this point, the enemy takes the Regieleki, they're pushing it, so they're going to have to backpedal. The goal here is on 11, so I'm looking to break that before anything. And then while the enemy is pushing that Regieleki, they're going to have to walk back. What I'm planning on doing is killing them on their way back. Now the best thing that my team could have done at that particular point in time is just let the Regieleki walk in and not let the enemy get any kill experience at all. Now the Psychic has slowed me down there, but what we're really aiming to do is take all of the contested farm. We can see that the buffs aren't up, so we're going to take all of that middle farm. We're not going to push too far because that's going to allow the enemies to kill us. As you can see, we have still got this level lead, but it's closing just because it takes us longer to level up. But we've still got a level lead, so we don't want to give any of that back. If you're pushing, make sure that you have got a good escape route. At least if I'm playing with Mewtwo, I've got full heal and teleport, and I've got a healer behind me. So if we're taking on a fight, we want to make sure that we are able to win. Now there's a trade-off here. The enemies are using their unites, but I want to make sure that I am able to get away. But here you can see the level advantage that the enemies are going to get with that catch-up experience. We get a kill, we get 1 level. The enemy get a handful of kills and they go up 3 levels. Now, team versus team, the levels are fairly even. And that fight was really bad for our team because you can see the enemy positioning heading towards this bottom objective. They have got way more presence than we do. Now honestly, I've played this pretty poorly. I've gone with the Unite and I have not got my team to back me up. I've only got the Ninetales. Thankfully the Ninetales went in and supported, because with the amount of damage we're able to do, we actually cleaned up their whole team and were able to get the objective. So honestly, that was kind of bad play on my end, but I'm grateful that the Ninetales was able to help me clean up. Now at this point, there is a top Regieleki. There is really no value to be had there. My priority here is making sure I am as high level as possible at the Rayquaza Fight. So if there's buffs and there is side farm, there is no reason why you should be going to that top lane for a fairly inconclusive fight. You should be making sure you are on top of those buffs and you are taking all the farm on the map, because your end goal, the top priority, is making sure that you are at that Rayquaza Fight with the level advantage over the other team. So you want to be using your time effectively throughout the entire 10 minutes. This is normally where it can get a little bit tricky. Now I initiate a fight here because I believe my team was in a fairly good spot, but I get caught out a little bit here, but I just want to show you how the combos work here. When you get that Mega Evolution, you want to pop that full heal so you are not able to be stunned at all for your first couple of attacks as Mega Mewtwo. Mega Mewtwo is incredibly strong, and as you can see, we pretty much took on like a 1v4 with a little bit of help of Slowbro. I again initiated that fight poorly. This is probably my second game on Mewtwo, I believe. So I am doing a little bit of limit testing, which means that I'm going into fights that I probably shouldn't be, because my team is not there with me. I'm just seeing how good Mewtwo really is. And honestly, the Pokemon is a little bit broken. Now, you're at the 3-minute mark. I can see there's a bottom objective and we've got a bottom goal zone there. I'm hoping that my team is able to just defend the goal zone, because that's where our value is going to be. At the Rayquaza, we want to make sure we've got our bottom goal zone, and I want to make sure I'm level 15. I can see that I can push for this level 15 because that is a very big experience lead for me to have. The jump between level 14 and level 15 is very, very big. Now my team's actually able to secure the objective there and pick up some kills. But let's talk about our Ray fight positioning. Firstly, depending on where you are, you've got your passive positioning where you want to stand low and initiate the fight and don't go past their choke points there. You just want to float around and kite back. Your second positioning is Assassin, where your team is able to initiate the fight and you can clean them up when they try and back out. The third positioning is Aggressive. You stand in their jungle bush, they jump from their jump pad, you chase them, and then you follow through into the Ray pit with your team. Here you can see I'm taking aggressive positioning because our team is well ahead. I'm able to take care of that Hooper before he's able to unite his team into the middle. The rest of their team jumps off that jump pad and we take a fight in their middle area. You use the mobility of Mewtwo to clean up any of those big damage dealers from the backline, because Mewtwo has that in his toolkit to do. He's got that mobility. Now, you look to clean up the team, and here we've got 3 dead. I'm putting pressure on this Rayquaza because I want to bait the enemy team in. As soon as I see someone, I go straight out of there and we look to kill them. We want to maintain a person v person lead. Here you can see our team is 5v3. We want to maintain the kill lead over the enemy. Now I convert into some assassin positioning here because I see that the fight, they're looking to try and back out of their choke point. So that's what I do. And then I go straight back to aggressive positioning as they're jumping off at the jump pad. Now I just want to note this is positioning with Mewtwo because Mewtwo has the mobility to move around. Now I look to get a back cut in here because it's going to force their team to jump towards the bottom area, and I can see that my Mega is ready to pop off. So if I initiate a fight, I know I'm going to be able to win that. And that's exactly what happens. Their team's forced to jump into the bottom lane while my team's able to clean up the objective. And then at this point, we're able to steamroll and win the game on score. As you can see, Mewtwo is incredibly strong. It's very point and click. You're able to get a lot of value if you play the early game really, really well. The only reason you're able to dominate and snowball as hard as this is because of your early game and your middle game macro. If you found this Mewtwo macro guide helpful, please drop a like and consider subscribing, because there's going to be many more useful videos like this in the future. Have a very good day.